Well, folks, welcome back to the channel tonight. A different type of rant that I was expecting to have tonight. I was looking forward to coming on and actually, having a positive result, talking about, another win, but it wasn't that case because it's been an absolute shambles this season. And started to eat up a couple of words I said at the start of the season about a particular manager, a particular style of football, predictions. It's all gone out the window. It's all gone out the window, but we're going to have an hour session talking about where it's gone wrong, where it could actually be fixed. Hello to everyone on Facebook. Hello to everyone on YouTube. Hello to everyone on X. The Jack Daniels and the Coca-Colas out, because watching that today was absolutely ridiculous. To any fans that went to the stadium, feel if I use more than anything else, because painful to watch. Yet again, dropping points at home to a team. Fair enough, they're fourth in the table. It's a team that actually know how to suss Celtic out and actually get points against Celtic. So well done to Kilmarnock, because we're absolutely dirt. The signs were there when we got beaten against them in the League Cup, and then before Christmas getting beaten against them. What is next to happen? What is next to happen? Like, before we kick a ball next Sunday against Motherwell, the team that are currently second place in the league could go 5 points clear. That's the reality of it, folks. And Brendan Rodgers, as I backed him to come in and do a job when Ange was departing, not up to standard, well beyond it. We are falling to pieces. And if you're one of these fans that's living in QQ land that thinks that we can turn this around, it's mad to think we could actually still go on and beat these, but throw the league away to other teams at this rate. Imagine that. Beat these, actually beat them in the two remaining derbies and still throw the league away. He thinks he's bigger than he is. The style of football is well backdated. It's the tactics are sussed by majority of the managers. Players are in the opposition team. When it comes to the second half, going at the second half, it's 0-0 or 1-0. They're that confident that they know. They're like, what, Celtic can be exposed. They can be beaten home and away. And teams are fancying their chances against us away because they know that we're going to burn out. We don't have that plan B. Never mind the plan A. So it's shocking. I just want to say well done to Anthony Ralston for his 100th appearance today. Unfortunately, wasn't the result that he wanted, but it's good to see a player come through the youth and getting that senior debut and then going on to play 100 times for the Hoops. Well done to him. But well done to Kyogo as well, scoring, but still well off it. Still well off it. I'm going to go into the comments, folks. Do subscribe. I'm after losing a couple of subscribers over the last couple of days because I haven't been active. So I'm doing a solo show tonight. A massive thank you to Kaiser as well, popping on the other night. Good to have Kaiser on. A lot of people were delighted to have you on. Tell us where you're watching from, what part of the world, how you're feeling about Brendan. Be honest, do you still think that Brendan Rodgers is the man to lead Celtic to the title? Because I'm sure 90% of the fans right now are like, no, get him to F. And I just feel like I'm on one of them. I'm on that now. As I said, how crazy is to think that we're top of the league and I'm calling for the manager to be sacked? What is that? Is that just, am I thinking right? Am I thinking wrong? Be honest, because I just think it's crazy to feel like we're top of the league and we shot ourselves in the foot so many times. St. Johnstone, Kilmarnock, twice in two different competitions, and you might as well say today might as well be a loss. There's no, as I said, going into this game, we need to win every game. Simple as that. There's no if but maybes. If we drop points, the pressure's on the manager, and he sits back and he's saying, "Oh, just analyse the game. Just analyse the game. You should have analysed the game when you dropped points against Kilmarnock back in November, and you didn't do nothing then." So, time for him to go. We are crap, and you know what? It's the board's fault. It's the manager's fault. The team have to take a blame as well. As much, this is a team that went on to win a treble, and we've seen the exciting football that we orchestrated over the 2 seasons, and it just clearly shows that Brendan Rodgers has lost the dressing room. He's lost the dressing room. He's losing the fans, and he's definitely lost the battle with the board because it feels like he has a lead on his neck, and he's barking, and he's not getting the results. So I don't want to sound spoiled, folks. I don't want to sound like I come across spoiled. I'm just being honest with you. We're absolutely shy. We're absolutely shy, and we've thrown away an 8-point gap. And Rangers go on to do it. You know what? They deserve it because we're not good enough. We have a player that comes in from Honduras. He has a good start to his Celtic career, and he just falls off the eight. I think he thinks he's bigger than he is. Palmer thinks he's better than he is. You know, two left feet, brutal. Nicholas Cohen is left foot and then he's playing on the right flank and he's brutal. He's not at it. And I know I always say let these players settle in, give them a season. There's too much stakes at risk. There's so much problems. You look at 7 million spent on two defenders in the summer, not to be seen most days. Injuries, not in the squad. We have our best defender probably for the last 10 years, Carter Vickers, and he's not around because he keeps getting injury upon injury. Atate injured. Players and money not being spent. There's so much problems at the club. I don't know what to say positive besides we're still in contention of winning this league. I know it sounds very premature, but you know, things can change, but let's be honest, in Scottish football, most teams roll over to the team that's currently second place. And it's not down to I'm not gonna blame referees and VAR. It's our own fault. We're just can't finish games off. We just can't be ruthless the way we were under Ange. So yeah, look, there's loads of comments in on I'm having a good old rant tonight. It feels like a counselling session, folks. And you are more welcome to comment below and tell me what's next in your eyes. Be honest around and say, I think we're gonna fall worse, Keith, or I think things are gonna take a turn. Things were meant to take a turn after the Rangers game. And things we beat St. Mirren and just went to shit. Went to shit. I just had a feeling that Aberdeen game. I was talking to a friend of mine there a few minutes ago before I went live, and he said to me, he goes, Keith, this is worse than the 2020 season. There's no excuse. There's money in the bank. The fans are in the stadium. Why are they not turning up? And I just said to him, I said, you know what? That's a manager that thinks that he's bigger than this league. He thinks that he could just walk out and put a team out and win this game comfortably. That's what his mentality is. You look at his post-match reactions. He's laughing in press conferences saying it's not a crisis. When fans can see on the pitch that we're scraping results and we're not playing the most comprehensive football all season, not just in 3 or 4 games, that's how you know it's a crisis brewing from top to bottom. So let's get into the comments. 86 people live. Do subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. There's no point in me coming on and doing these podcasts if you don't go over to YouTube and subscribe. Honestly, free of charge. Back Keith up. Sort us out. Free subscription. Subscribe. It'd be deadly. Like, you know, as I said, the whole Abada thing's a shambles. I understand people are going to be divided opinion about Lial Abada. I'm going to say my own opinion. If his head's not in it, and he's a lot going on in his personal life, and he's not fit to play for the club, we think about the best thing for both parties. We offload him alone. Yeah, people are saying, oh, he has potential. We're not going to see this potential in a Celtic shirt if he's not willing to pay and contribute. Simple as that. That's the God honest truth. He's been a phenomenal player under the Ange regime, but he hasn't caught up this season because he's been injured most of the season. He didn't play one Champions League game. So if I was Celtic, I'd be looking to get rid of him in the summer and cash in and take whatever. We bought him for what? 3.5 million, 3.7 million from Israeli football. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. We need people that actually want to play for the club. I feel like, you know, he can put up as much Instagram post and go on that he's having a fabulous life, he's misses, but he's training, but he's not contributing on the pitch. He's not playing. We know what Lial Abada is made of. And I'm not going to talk about politics and stuff like that. We need people that want to contribute to the cause. And if he's not willing to contribute, let him go. Simple as that. There's no point keeping these players at the club, you know. So let's go into the comments. CJ, how's it going? Hope you're well. Backwards is an understatement. Ridiculous poor once again today. Time for a wee shift out. You know, like Harry Kewell's gone, Jota's gone, Starfeld's gone. Ange moved on because he wanted to move on. And Brendan comes in and he thinks it's a straw in the park. And I'm eating my words. I hate being wrong. I really hate being wrong in these podcasts because, you know, I love coming on and giving a prediction and sticking by it. But personally, I just feel he's done. He's done as a Celtic manager. He's fucked up the season big time. Fucked it up. And the board have fucked it up as well. Peter Lawwell. Don't know why they think that it's okay to put their wages up. Mark Lawwell needs to get the fuck as well. Honestly. Shambles of a club. Shambles. How could you go on to win a treble last season, get into the Champions League and fall this low? Shambles. And I know there's going to be fans that are like, I'm not worried. I'm still not worried yet. It's all right, kids. Keep the faith. Hail, green tints on. Whatever these are into, they're all entitled to opinion. I know a lot of you are going to be on my side as well. Look, this is not about picking sides. It's about being together and looking what's right and what's wrong. And looking at what's wrong is the manager's wrong. His tactics are outdated, regardless if you play two up front, regardless who plays in the midfield. Callum McGregor should not be playing as a defensive midfielder. We should have a Wata as a defensive midfielder, pushing Callum up, pushing Matt up. Maybe I feel I'm going to say this out straight. I know Kyogo has scored in the last 2 games, and I still feel he needs to be dropped. I still feel like he's not the answer. And I love the guy to bits. I really do sincerely love the guy. So much memories, but there's something wrong there. Is it just the man management of Kyogo? Is it the lack of service? Is it he's not clicking with these players around him? I don't know. Matt O'Reilly looks burnt out yet, chance upon chance. So we'll go into these comments, folks. 99 people watching. As I said, to cheer me up, if you can, subscribe. All I'm asking is to subscribe. I am angry, I'm annoyed, I'm disappointed, but I'm not disappointed with the result. I'm disappointed in general of the whole season, just to put it out there, just to elaborate how bad we are going. You know, the football's been dire. Not Celtic class, 100% wrong. I completely agree with you. They have this 1 in 10 games, they look decent. And then, as I said, Palmer looked all right at the start and he just fell to God. I just feel like he's too busy on TikToks. Going and traveling around the UK with Bear the Bay and not focusing on the most important thing. Putting all your energy into these games and stop thinking you're Cristiano Ronaldo of Honduras. It's not working out for you. And I don't want to criticize players, folks. I don't want to come on and throw players under the bus, because at the end of the day, they're a team. They win, we praise them. When we lose, we criticize them. And that's the joys of football. We are productive. We are proactive. Keep Brendan must go. If it isn't working, the facts of football has been rejected. I miss Ange so much. And I don't want us to run around like, oh, I miss my ex. I miss Ange. I miss Ange. We miss Ange's football. We miss Ange's character. We miss Ange getting the best out of these players. Ange is gone. Let's be honest. We need to get someone else. We need to go back to the drawing board and say, right, we need someone that's really hungry to make a statement at the club. And Brendan Rodgers came in as I got off the stroll in the park. I'll get £3 million a season, and I might win the league, and I'll win this and I'll win that. I'm Brendan Rodgers. That's what I felt like. And as I said already, I backed them to come in and do the job. And my God, just put the paper in my mouth and just eat it at this rate. Brendan out. Style is dire. We're only top because we had to sack a manager they had to sack the manager due to poor results. That's it. Like, imagine that. Like, imagine feeling at them, right? Imagine we actually beat them the 2 final games, and we dropped more points to other teams. How sickening would that be? How sickening would that actually feel? And that's realistic. Definitely not the job. I'm in Glasgow. Brendan to go. Lawwell won't go. See, the problem is, like, we all say Lawwell to go. Nicholson to go. Mark Lawwell Jr., whatever, to go. They're not going to go, folks. They're not going to go because they feel like they've bringing enough revenue, and they feel like they're bringing all this money in, but they're going to shoot themselves in the face. They're sleeping at the wheel. 60 million quid up for grabs in the Champions League, and you know what? Just frustrated and worry, mate. There's definitely something happening behind closed doors. Look, as I said, we have the 2 centre backs that can't get a sniff of football. We have wingers that were going from these weird leagues. Well, no disrespect to K League and A League and other leagues. They're just not Celtic class. Simple as that. They're just not Celtic class. And I know people that watch the K League and the J League and are Celtic fans and hype these players up to do well. Look at Mark Attilio back in Melbourne. 2 games for Celtic. Mikey Johnson's doing well for West Brom. Can't cut Celtic well past it. It's a shambles. You have James McCarthy collecting 20 grand a week. Jamesy Forrest, legend of the years. I think he's done. You know, like it's a shambles. We have a keeper that's 27 years of age, and we can't lure a new keeper in. We're not going to get Cleveland Keller, folks. Let's be honest. He's playing at the moment for Liverpool, and he's doing well, and they're pushing for a title. Why would he leave to go to a shambles of a club, Celtic, at the moment, while he's doing well at Liverpool? You know, I know Klopp's moving on, but let's be honest. Let's use our heads instead of using our hearts on this topic. Just the team doesn't want to play for him. That's it. There's no urgency. It's too much tippy tappy football from the back, and it's just where's the players where you used to take a centre back up like an Oyer or like a Van Dijk that used to take a run at players, go past the halfway line. You don't have that with this crop of players. Afraid. They don't have the confidence in themselves. It's not the team that won the treble. Lots of players have gone. Starfelt is gone. Jota's gone. And I think a lot of players in the head are gone as well. That mentality is gone, to be honest. George, and the team literally stopped mid-play today and seemed like to stop. That's it. They just don't have that plan. They don't have that urgency. Shocking. So there's 127 tuning in, folks. Just comment below where you're watching from. If it's Stirling, Glasgow, Belfast, New York, Boston. As I said, I'm not coming on these podcasts if no one wants to subscribe. Just go on to the same name, come on the Hoop Celtic on YouTube and subscribe. It'll help me so much. Gives me the confidence to keep doing this as much as I can. Even when things are bad, I'll still come on and show me face. I'm not going to fanny away from it. There was a lot of empty seats today. It's, to be honest, I don't know if it's the case that people are just losing the will, not excited about the football, losing the will, that we feel like, oh, we're going to drop points, or it's just the weather. You can't answer for that, to be honest with you. Time will tell, you know. We won't get a new board in as much as you want that, Andy. It's not going to happen, you know. Let's be realistic. We sold Ideguchi and David Turnbull. We bought Nicholas Cunningham, and we made a net profit of 500 grand in January. And the indications were there and there since October, since the start of October, for Brendan Rodgers barking, oh, we need to bring quality in. How about you open your mouth? How about you sit down and be ruthless? How about you have, like, if you've been around long enough in the game, which you worked at big clubs like Liverpool and Chelsea, and you've actually worked at Celtic in the past, how about you sit down and actually make your own stamp on the team and bring this style of football in? But clearly, the style of football he's bringing in is well backdated. I know people said in the past, you don't go backwards with managing. You don't take back a previous manager. Like Lenny, we took Lenny back, and Lenny helped us win the treble, and then you throw him with a contract in the shower. I feel like it's the same with Brendan Rodgers, you know, and I don't think it's going to take a while for him to get a job after Celtic. You know, I think he does need a break away from football for a year or two. So, yeah. Who believes that he still can do the job? Comment below. You know, come at me with the comment saying where I can still believe he could do it or not. Just be honest, you know. Sack the manager. Get Rodgers out. How's it going, Mark? I hope you're doing well. I know I've got a few comments already. We do need men. We do need men. Football, the landscape of football is changing. We're bringing in new players, trying to develop them, and there's feck all leadership. I feel like Callum McGregor has lost it this season. He's only turned up for about 3 or 4 decent games all season. And I love Cal. We all love Cal, but let's be honest. St. Johnstone away, the 2 derby games, that's really it from what I've seen of Callum McGregor. That's just, to be honest. Like, I don't want to come across as being completely negative and buzz killing your mood, even worse, but I'm just looking at it from what I've seen this season. The signing policy has fucked us 100%, Ryan, and I do apologise if anyone who's watching, if kids around and I'm swearing, but emotions are running high, folks. And I know I said about 6 weeks ago he was sold a broken bone, but it's his mentality. It's as bad as Neil Lennon when we drew 3-3 to Aberdeen that season. It was that kind of stubbornness about Rodgers. It's just he's losing the fans. And let's be honest, like, as I said, 90% of the fans right now that are probably watching this podcast feel like he's not up for the job. And I want to know in the comments, folks, who would you take in? I've heard on podcasts today, would you take Martin O'Neill back to the end of the season or Gordon Strachan for the back of the season? I'm going to say right now, as I said there a few minutes ago, you don't go backwards, regardless of what the Browns' success. You need to learn from mistakes. You have to move forwards. I'd go for Newton. I don't know what's going on with Newton at the moment, if he's still at Boda Glint. I know their season has finished. Let's see what's going on with him. He's still at Boda Glint. Should be, So there's 144 people watching. I wouldn't touch Big Sam. Boring football, folks. Nice guy. No. Chris Hughton didn't really work out well for Ghana. He's done it well for Newcastle, done well for Brighton. Nottingham Forest he was at. I don't know. I really don't know. I think that's it. Side to side, backwards football. Completely agree with you. Bored to blame. I meant everyone takes blame, folks, from the board, the team, to the manager. Everyone responsible for this absolute disaster. At the end of the day, if they were winning games, you wouldn't be sitting here saying, "Oh Jesus, the board are this and that." So completely well off it, out of touch. 37 a week and no shot from Callum. He's been poor. He's been poor all season. As I said, 4 or 5 games he's turned up, and it's just I wouldn't drop him as much. I wouldn't drop him because who'd you stick in? Do you bring Awata in? Do you bring Bernardo and Matt O'Reilly and play? Drop him like it's a lot. It just shows how bad the club is going if we're dropping Callum McGregor, a guy that's been at the clubs since a young level, took the captaincy from Scott Brown, helped us win 5 trophies. I can't come to grips with dropping Callum McGregor as much as he's been poor. I just did maybe not start him and let him come off the bench. I wouldn't drop him from the squad completely. I think that's ludicrous if someone feels like that or not, but there's something needs to be addressed anyway, definitely. Sums up our season, as I said, started with losing to Kilmarnock in the League Cup, started with St Johnstone, dropping points to St Johnstone, so many shots that day, Motherwell, Celtic Park, Hart losing the Hearts, Aberdeen away, Hibs away. It's just there, folks. As I said, I know, like some of you are still have the faith and stuff, but it's just getting worse and worse. Celtic were very nervy today. They've been very nervy all season, to be honest with you, James. To be very nervy, like that's I said, the fans by half time, the fans would a lot of the fans feel like we're not going to finish this game off. We have 2 decent games besides the Rangers games where we beat Hibs and Aberdeen at home this season. That's about it. Brutal. Graham Potter wouldn't be a bad manager. He wouldn't take the Celtic job because he's earning a chunk of cash off the sacking when he got sacked from Chelsea. So can't see him. Corney's on 10 grand. He's on 10 grand a week or 10 grand a season or something like that. They have to pay him off. Don't know how accurate it is, but not 10 grand, 10 million. How's it going, Jerry? Central defence is rubbish. Scales and Welch can't be jumping. Look at the goal we gave away at the end. Where was Bear the Bay? I know Taylor's after coming back from injury, and I would have kept him, try to keep him on as much as we can. Now he's not fully up to scratch with fitness. I think Rogers knows the game is up. Seen at the press conference today, does not care. If he's a Celtic man, as he says he is, he would be grilling that team, and we would have learned from the mistakes. And as I said, how we are top of the league at the moment, and we're all sitting here saying, let's get rid of our manager. How ludicrous is the landscape of football gone? Because we're looking at it in the sake of cannot lose this league. Definitely. O'Neill from Wolves. Now, Gary O'Neill's happy at Wolves. Why would you go to Celtic? Let's be honest. Why would you leave when you're like in the top 10 of the Premier League? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense in his perspective. Like, the club are not going to show that ambition of getting young managers in. They just don't want to. They want to get someone that's compliant, that's afraid to speak out, that's whipped, as I would label it. And a lot of the fans are on board now. A lot of fans are waking up. As I said, it's a case that you're going from winning 5 trophies with Ange to taking Brendan Rodgers back and expecting success in the fourth season because you're pumping money into the club. You have season tickets at high, and if the way it keeps going, you're going back to the Ronnie Doyle days with them banners up in the top stands. It just keeps going the way it is. So Arnie Slot, Feyenoord manager, good manager. I wouldn't mind Arnie Slot, to be honest. I think he was obviously torn down the Tottenham job before Ange got it. So yeah, I've seen no emotion from Brendan's interview. Exactly, there's been no emotion. Let's go with Vincent Company. He's doing brutal at Burnley. I know it's a lot to ask for, but yeah. Sean Dyche. Folks, if there's managers that are actually in the Premier League at the moment, they're not going to leave Premier League teams to come to Celtic halfway through a season. Let's be honest. What's the incentive for them? What is the incentive for them? You know, they could turn it around and win a league and play Champions League football next season. But the chances at the moment, as I said, we have Motherwell next Sunday. Rangers are playing St. Johnstone tomorrow away in McDermott Park, and then they're home to Hearts. Let's be honest, are the two of them teams going to pull off a result against them? Definitely not. So, their own fault. What about you, Keith? If I had my badges, I would 100%. I seriously believe that it's a business decision to let them win the league. 100%. Really believe that. You know, if they were ambitious, they would actually go out and spend the money in like the last one. Marco Rose, not a bad man. Nah, rather not. So, folks, I'll stay on for about another half an hour. It's gonna be a long podcast. There's a lot of yous on tonight. 151 people. As I said, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, get on it, please. It'd be really appreciated. I want to get this 18,000 subs as soon as I can. I know a lot of you are tuning in from Facebook, and I'm really grateful that you are tuning in. I know a lot of you have watched a lot of podcasts since full time, and we all wanted that positive result. And 2 points dropped, handing the league away, the second place team, and yeah. So doesn't want an English Premier League manager. Maybe we need to go for a foreign perspective, Go for someone besides the Premier League. At the end of the day, we took a manager that was, hit relegation with Leicester. Let's be honest. As much as he was invincible with us, he won 69 games unbeaten. He won double trebles, and he walked out on us. He's not going to walk out with Celtic because he'll have in his head and he's white horse that I have a job to do here. He's on $3 million a year. Do you think the club are going to? Do you think Lawwell, Dermot Desmond, and Michael Nixon is going to sit Brendan Rodgers down and sack him halfway through a season? Well, we're still top of the league at this moment in time. It's not going to happen. And I know the fans are saying, and it's sad though, because you don't want to end in that way. You don't want any manager to be sacked. Especially regardless of what he brought in the past. But it's the football. The results are there. It's a results business. The football hasn't been comprehensive. You can't see a rebuild with the squad. You just see it's declining. It's declining. It's not rebuilding. It's not. The winning mentality is gone. Whenever top mentality is gone from the squad. The captain is done in. The goalkeeper is very hot and cold. We can't defend corners or crosses. We have a defensive crisis. We can't keep a consistent centre backs for more than 3 or 4 games. We never strengthened with left back. We rely on Greg Taylor so much, which is not nowhere near the level to be playing in European football. We have wingers that coming in from Greek football and K-League that think that they're Cristiano Ronaldo the second, and they can't cross the ball for their lives. They can't beat a player. There's so much faults there. We have a striker that scored over 50 goals for us, and he's only scored 13 goals this season because he's lacking confidence. So you need a good man manager. And I know Matt Riley praised Brendan Rodgers at the start, and there's obviously something going on there. As I said already in the comments, and I've said it many times, he has lost the dressing room. And we did. Fell off the cliff. And then as I was saying, he's a good domestic player. And he does the job. He does the job, gets stuck in, and look, he's not the tallest player, but he gives the best he can, and you have to give Taylor praise in that stage. And I know we've been very critical of Taylor over the years, and I feel like we could have went out. Like we just don't have a as I said this the other day to close on the podcast, folks. If you weren't tuning in, this will be the hardest league Callum McGregor will ever win as a Celtic player if he can get it together. Said he, if I was Brendan Rodgers, I'd be getting them into Lennoxtown tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning and training into them, give them the hairdryer treatment, because players are too soft these days in football. They're getting away with more these days. As I said already, the Alabama, if his head's not in it, let him go for the best decision of a club. Let him go. We need players that want to commit to the cause. If he wants to go down as a Celtic cult hero, or remembered by Celtic fans, he needs to get his head together. I know it's a difficult situation he's in. Get his head together, put the head down, and work hard, and put the shirt on and play for the cause, because he's had to get a new deal. I know there's a lot going on in his background, but the best thing is distraction. Distraction is the best thing when you're struggling. Not to sit there and dwell on things and post on Instagram. You know? It's been coming since the Hearts game. 100%. I know we picked up form after the Hearts game. We got the Derby win, and we won at Dens Park. That sounds embarrassing to say, but we got results, and it was coming. You're just seeing the goals we conceded in the Hearts game. Look at the goals we've conceded this season. The ones it's always back post. It's always a back post goal, folks. It's always a set piece. It's horrendous. John Kennedy needs to look at himself. As much as we all rate John Kennedy, he's the defensive coach. What is going on there? You think you learn from a couple of mistakes? It's still happening, still trending. Because they're trying to build up the team. It's just the situation is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, as I said. Top of the league, and we're sitting here saying, well, won't be top of the league tomorrow. Won't be top of the league for the foreseeable future. We can't get our shit together and actually start winning games. That's it. He isn't special. He isn't special, folks. And I'm not trying to attack Liel Abada. I'm being brutally honest. If there's someone in your workplace that's not committing to the cause, and you know the potential that they have, and we need them more than ever, you offload them. Simple as that. You need to bring someone else in when the next window opens. I'd gladly play Rockavata at this rate instead of Liel Abada, Rockavata, or Mitchell Frame or something. I just think it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's earning so much money. He's on a new deal. Unfortunate circumstances, what's happened on his side. But, I've had this conversation with many Celtic fans. People's lives are more important than one player. And I know you might say, politics and stuff. I see it from a human perspective, and I don't want to go down this route. He hasn't performed this season, the games he's played. You could see in his body language, he doesn't want to be at the club. If he doesn't want to be at the club, let him go. Let him go. Literally let him go. And something, there's no fight. There's no fight from back to front. Simple as that. There's none of it's this stubbornness from the players that they think they can go out and win 3 or 4-0. Just doesn't have that urgency anymore. Some players are just mentally not there. Mentally, they're not there in the pitch. They're lost. And that's what I said. It's a case that do you think there's other players that siding with Abada? I don't know, Eric. I really don't know. That's for the manager, whoever the manager is going to be in the next 7 days, if it's still Brendan or not. It's about player welfare, but you need to get the best resolution, because you need players that are at that so-called quality to perform. If you're going to sell the Alabama in the summer, you need them playing football. You need to play football. We would be lucky to get 8 million from him at this rate. He's 22, but it's all about consistency. It's all about form. It's all about stats in it, and these stats are well off it. Players like Palm and Orosky, Bernardo. I like Bernardo. I think Bernardo. I honestly like Bernardo. I think he's turned the corner. I think he's a good player. Palmer, very hot and cold. very hot and cold. Doesn't give me enough encouragement that you can turn it. I thought I'd done a video when he was on form, when he got that like 7 games and he stats were good. I was like, oh, you could be the next, you could be better than John. I'm eating my words on that as well. Some of the stuff is laughable I've said over the last season, but it is what it is. I put my hands up when I say when I'm wrong. Couldn't. That's it, and it's up to Callum McGregor. It's up to like Stephen Welsh. It's up to Anthony Ralston. It's up to James Forrest. Players that have been through the youth system, that have been long enough here to drill in their head how important this is. They should know the stakes are high when you come into Celtic. They should know that there's a league to be won. We don't accept second place. Second place might as well feel like last place at this rate. You don't finish second place in a league because it's a failure in Celtic and Celtic fans' eyes. And we see how bad it can get. And we can see how good it can get if you win a league. You know, it could go down to the last day of the season, folks, and look at teams could be that team are currently second place. As I said, we need to get ourselves in order before we can compete and beat teams like Motherwell. Motherwell be fancy their chances against us next Sunday. Remember, they did give us a good game last time at Fair Park, and then we got that, you know, stoppage time winner in the 97th minute with Matt O'Reilly. So there needs to be a bit of fight from these players. As I said, I think players do need to be rotated and dropped and look at. I want to know in the comments below, do you honestly believe that we can win this league, or is it just a case that we're going to stand on the dog poop again and mess up and keep throwing these points away? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Stephen John says, I stuck up for Brendan all the way. Now fed up now, getting fed up with the players. Same situation, man. Stuck up for him until last week. I just felt like, you know, I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm sitting there and I'm literally falling asleep watching these games because I know that we're not gonna finish the team off. That's embarrassing to say, folks. It really is embarrassing. You know, we should be excited. We seen the football we played under Rodgers previously. It's all changed. Landscape of football, he just doesn't have it, you know. We did come over to your place and we pumped you already at your place, so just be careful. Be careful what you say. Just remember that who pumped you twice this season. So I don't see you pumping us. You know? Like, you may be on your high horse, but like, just let's be honest, like, you haven't done feck all against us this season. Celtic's own downfall, not beating the other teams, you know. Davy Moyes, I wouldn't mind Davy Moyes as much as his football is not the greatest. He's done well with West Ham winning the Conference League. Obviously, he knows the stakes at Celtic fan, play for the club and all that, you know. Yeah, that's it. Blocked, leave them to it. Brings me a view as well. That's it. As I always say, form is temporary, liquidation is permanent. So form is temporary. Just, you know, it was administration day the other day, but the anniversary. 1-0 isn't a pumping. Pumps down their confidence, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is. Just remember that. Still a win. Still a win. Well, there's money in the bank. It's being ambitious and saying, look, we can offer you maybe 25 to 30 grand a week. Like, as I said, this money that they have in the bank now is basically going to cover the cost of maybe losing this league this season to roll on to next season. So I think either way, I don't want Kevin Muscat. I'm not trying to be bitter anyway. I don't want Kevin Muscat. I know he worked under Ange and all, and he done well in the J League. No thanks. No thanks. I don't want Kevin Muscat. You know, been falling asleep all season. It's embarrassing to say that, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, will you get away with it? Beat them twice already. I know. I was one of them fans that wanted them in, and as I said, I'm eating my words up now. You know. Let's see what Side has to say. Are you concerned that the level on points even though we beaten them twice? I'm concerned that we can't beat teams that are in front of us besides Rangers. We beaten Rangers. We can't beat teams like, as I said, Motherwell, St Johnston, scrape the win against Ross County. It's teams that are below them that we can't beat because we're taking teams for granted. And Kilmarnock, to be honest, should have beaten us today because we're brutal. We're absolutely brutal. And I don't think he'll walk. I think he'll be happy to sit there and take the cash, to be honest with you, Pablo. Can't speak for Brendan Rodgers, I could just speculate, but I can't speak for him. But I think, if he had a bit of sense and looking at he didn't get the back and he didn't get the players he wanted in, I'd be gone if I was him. And this is he jumped ship around this date in 2019. So weird things have happened in football. I said this on the channel about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I still think he'll probably go to Newcastle in the summer. That's my opinion. But still winnable. It is still winnable, but as I said, the evidence is there that we keep dropping points. We're not consistent. And it still is winnable. A lot of football to be played. There's 12 games we played in the league, but it's just madness. Yeah, just madness. So there's 153 people tuning in, folks. If you are tuning in on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. It's free of charge. It'd be really appreciated. If you feel like this man is still good enough to do the job and win the league, comment below. If you feel like he's not good enough to continue on as a Celtic manager and you're bored and you're annoyed and fed up with the football we've been playing all season, comment below. Voice your opinion. No harm getting across. Because it's a lot to ask for him to change this around. As I said, he didn't. The players have been brought enough quality wasn't brought in the door in the last 2 windows. The recruitment is the fault. The manager's the fault. The lack of urgency from the captain. The lack of service to go into our key striker. Defending is his fault as well. Back post. There's a lot of faults, but the biggest fault is the board. The board make the big decisions to recruit. Recruit as in getting the scouting department, getting a manager in. There should have always been a director of football at Celtic, but there's not. There's not a middleman there, folks. There's not a middleman. Michael Nicholson's meant to be the middleman. And, the Fergal Harkin should have been brought in a couple of years ago, but it didn't happen. So let's be realistic. It's an absolute joke. Shut up, you idiot. Get out of here. Going through my head. Deluded. Take the coaches with him, Kennedy and Strachan. That's a crazy thing. We were all some of us were delighted that Kennedy was staying at the club. Some of us were like, should have moved on in our chapter, maybe get new faces in. Terrible performance today. Bottle merchants. That's the best way to say it, bottle merchants. Not even the difference. It's not even the difference with him. It's the difference of us not being consistent. That's the problem. It's not about what they're doing. It's about us turning up on the day and not putting teams to bed by half time or grabbing them results. That's the problem here. The problem is that there's not enough fighters in that team. There's not enough confidence in them players. Some of them players just look like they're done in, they're bored, they're sick of it. They just want out. And that's the God honest truth. I think Matt O'Reilly will go. I think Abada will go. Would not be surprised. Carter Vickers goes in the summer, even though he's done a new deal. Won't be surprised. Football has a lot of strange scenarios in it. See what happens. It's gonna be. You need a revamp. You need a revamp from the top down to the bottom. You need to bring players in that want to fight for the shorts. We're still going ongoing discussions with Rockavat is contract scales. It's maybe getting a new contract. There's no ambition from the club to go out and actually get a player that we could say, right, 25, Premier League experience, could do a job. You get Nat Phillips in, chap flops it. Flops it. I know Shane Duffy got absolute abuse in the season a couple of years ago. Well worse than Shane Duffy. Shane Duffy's situation was completely, when you lose your father, you're coming into a club and you're not. It's COVID. It's completely different. As I said, there was a bit of sympathy there for Shane Duffy, and I think the abuse that he took off certain fans was disgusting. Nat Phillips completely deserves the absolute criticism that was thrown at him. Let's see. That's it. Letting Giakoumakis go last season after the League Cup semi-final against St. Johnstone, was it? Was a disaster in itself. Ida's brutal. I don't want to be too hard on Ida. At the end of the day, he's at the company. He knows the stakes are. It's obviously it was his first game at Celtic Park in the hoops, and it just didn't work out for him. No one takes responsibility. They are happy to shift the possession side to side. That's it, man. There's no plan B. There's barely a plan A, man. It's regardless if you play 3-5-2 or you do 4-4-1-1 or 4-3-3. They're afraid to take a shot from outside the box. They're afraid to test the keeper. They just want to drag the ball in the back of the net. It's not the way of football. With Celtic, you just need to test the keeper. And okay, their keeper was decent today. He pulled off some good saves then instead, but just shocking to see. That's it. There is still a lot of football to be played, as I said. Things are bad tonight, but I'm not ready to declare the league is just done yet. 90% of me feels in my conscience that it's done. We still have them 2 RB days. There's a lot of football to be played, but it's just so much mess. So many times that we standing on minds this season of our own doing, conceding late goals at home, dropping points, and it's an absolute disaster. Losing home back to Dundee sums up really well. To be honest with you, the reason why he went back to Dundee is because he played for Liverpool. You can't play for 3 teams in one season. So that's the reason why we didn't get home back. We should have been ambitious and got home back. We should have got the Icelandic keeper, Lamarson, as well, but that didn't happen. The rugby contracts, 100%, man. Madness. Absolutely madness. That's why he got booted out the door a few months later. How's it going, Plunge? I hope you're well. Obviously, the form could be a bit down tonight, but hope everyone's doing well. 13 minutes left, folks. Paul is saying he likes Daniel Armstrong. As I said, I'd get Owen Beck in the summer. I'd get the Aberdeen striker, Bojang, and I probably would get Daniel Armstrong. He's caused a threat against us in 3 different occasions. Even the 3-1 game, I thought he played well against us. So, I'll back you up on that, Paul. Back you up on that. There's no point of getting someone from the K-League where we have someone in domestic football we could actually go and develop as well. And some people might not agree with you because they might want to see better quality brought in as well. Job is too big for Brendan. I agree with you. I do agree with you. I think, as I said, I think he's lost the dressing room and he's losing that bond with the fans. He's losing whatever bond he had with the fans. As I said, I've praised them over the past. I've wanted them to come back in and do a job, and I'm feeling annoyed I said that, but at the same time, we've been conned, we've been filled by the board, by the management, and the players need to pull the socks up and realise what's at stake here, because they just keep failing and failing. And the coaching staff are just as bad, Let's see what Stephen says. Hey, Stephen, I hope you're doing well. All the fans. O'Reilly, yeah. I think he'll leave at the end of the season. That's it. I lack of service as well. One touch net. Back it away, you. But Kieran, as I said already, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself like a parrot here, but there's been so many mistakes this season. It's the same deja vu keeps kicking in. It's still, you look at St. Johnstone, Motherwell, Hearts, Hibs away, Aberdeen away. It's going to happen again. It's going to probably happen another 2 or 3 times at this rate, to be honest. I know you're saying there's a lot of football to be played, and there's still a long way to go, and there's 2 derbies, and it was a hard watch. It's been a hard watch all season. It's like picking the top 5 games. You're looking at the 2 derby games, the win against Aberdeen at home, the win against Hibs at home, and then St. Johnstone. It's just been brutal. Absolutely brutal. It has been a train wreck. 100% agree with you, Jamie. Hope you're well. Got your message earlier on. That's it. That this season has been an absolute train wreck, Keith. I thought it would have been good enough to get by this season. Rodgers is out by days. He has to go. There's no fight or determination in this league, in this team. League's gone. Time will tell. As I said, I'm gonna just, as I said, I'm 90% there that I'm saying we're not winning the league this season, but I think the nail will be in the coffin if we drop points next week to Motherwell. Completely done. Completely done. That's how I feel. As I said, there's a little bit of hope there that we could turn it around, but I don't know if Brendan Rodgers is the man to do it. I've seen people on podcasts saying Roy Keane. I wouldn't touch Roy Keane. He's been out of management too long. He'd be coming in with a bigger ego than Brendan Rodgers would be. Roy Keane, phenomenal footballer for Manchester United, good footballer for Ireland. Had a brief spell at Celtic. Not a chance I go near Roy Keane. This all is, I'll give him you give them the hairdryer treatment. He'd come in and he'd lose the dressing room in the space of 2 or 3 weeks. You know. How's it going, Thomas? I hope you're well. Blame the manager and the players, Celtic board for their blame everyone. You have to blame from the top down to the bottom. The team are not performing. It's simple as that. The manager is not giving the positivity out to the players. He's coming into press conferences and laughing about saying it's not a crisis or we this and that. It's just it's frustrating to watch. We have went backwards, and if a Celtic fan turn around and says in this podcast we haven't gone backwards, lay off the glue, folks. Please lay off the glue. As I said, we're just falling upon falling, and it's for anyone that's not a Celtic fan that's watching this podcast. It's Comedy Central for you because it just shows the mistakes upon mistakes that Celtic have cost ourselves this season. The League Cup disaster, getting laughed at in the Champions League. Like people are saying, we gave teams games in the Champions League. Where did we finish in the Champions League? Did we get into the Europa League? No. Doesn't mean nothing. So it's crazy. It's done a 360, get rid of Hart now. But that's what I'm saying. Hart was like turning on the heat. You starting to put on some really good crucial saves, and now we're just like today a ball got crossed in. Instead of catching it, he punches him. Like, what are you doing, Joe? Like, is it just a case he gets too comfortable at home with thinks that teams are not going to press on him? Like, what's going on? Like, Exactly. Wouldn't touch him. Would not touch him. Definitely not. Is that true? You should never got to this place. Exactly. It's the board sleeping at the wheel. They're the words for it. Sleeping at the wheel. From the manager, from the team, from the board, from the recruitment. As I said, I didn't want to be coming onto this podcast and I talking about pointing out things what's going wrong. What they should be pointing out what's positive, but it's hard to pick out what's positive. As I said, the only positive thing at this moment is we're still in contention to turn this around, but we need to change the manager to turn it around. As I said, I don't think he has the fuel in the stomach to go on and lift this team and get this team playing right because he hasn't done it all season. That's to be honest with you. No, it's not too late to change them. You've seen managers being changed in English football with 10 games to go and these stay in the Premier League. 12 games, a lot of football's can change in 12 games. I would change it. Definitely would change it. Who takes over? Your answer to that is Newton. Bodo Glimt are on. They finished their season about 4 weeks ago. They lost the Norwegian Cup. I would go for Newton. That would have been my number 2 choice. I didn't rate Maresca. I was like pro Brendan at the time, and look what Maresca's doing with Leicester. Wonders with Leicester. I can't see him leaving Leicester whereas on the verge of being promoted to come to Celtic. So I think that City group connection is gone. Mark Lawwell needs to leave Celtic. Peter Lawwell, hold your head in shame because In Newson available, yeah, he's like, as I said, the Norwegian league is done now, so why not? Why not? Why not? Like, you need a manager that plays good football, and Newson is you've seen how well he played against us. The football, they made a show of us at Celtic Park in the Conference League, you know. So I'd go for Newton. That would be my top. I said I don't want this whole malarkey of going in and taking someone till the end of the season. If you want to rebuild a team, you would get this guy come in the door, let him play this, let him play, get used to the players, get used to the culture, start putting rules in place, and then kick on with the summer. I know that sounds crazy talking about the summer and stuff, but as I said, folks, if you can as well, there is a membership option there. If he's already subscribed, there's one there for 99 pence. If you want to purchase the membership on the YouTube channel, 99p. I'm hoping to get these stickers done in the next couple of months. I know I delayed. I'm planning to get stickers done that are on the crest on the right hand side, send them out. So how much is it to sack Brendan? I don't really know. He's on 3 million a year. Like, it's mad to think they'd probably be looking at the T's and C's of this. What if it goes wrong? How much do you sack him? Probably 5 million, let's say. Probably 5 million. Just a guess. As I said, I don't really know. Probably find out in the next couple of days. Good sources always Celts here. They're always a good source when it comes to information. So give a shout out to them. One and rule it out. Celtic toys, 3 million plus wages probably. So I probably went for 5 million. The board will probably give it to Kendi. We're going backwards. You give it to Kendi. Kendi got it in the past as an interim manager, and then what happened? Nothing happened. Football was boring. I wouldn't go. Clearly you're clearly not. You're not a Celtic fan, right? In this, I take McInnes. McInnes done well at Aberdeen. The space when they were down and buried, but no. Definitely not. I wouldn't go near McInnes. I know some people say Steve Clark in the summer after the Euros. I don't know about that. I'd rather Newton. As this happened. Exactly. It's always the business end when you come into February, March, when you start evaluating, you start saying, well, look, something needs to change here. We have 3 strikers. You have 3 strikers, right? Eder's at the coming in from Norwich where, he scored goals, scored the 2 penalties at Easter Road. He hasn't scored from open play yet. Still struggling to get a goal. His form is, I want him to do well at Celtic, as I said, but he wasn't the answer. I would have went for Sidney Van Hooydonk, but the club were ambitious and he ended up going to Norwich. Should have went for Bojan off Aberdeen. Never happened. It just shows that Celtic just keep shooting themselves in the foot each time, and then he goes on and scores against us. Laughable. Could happen, Kaiser. Could happen. Not a chance. Leave Neil out. Leave Neil out. Nice guy. So, folks, as I said, if you want to subscribe to the channel, it'll be really appreciated. I'm going to do 5 more minutes of this. Jump off. I might do a podcast tomorrow night. I'll see what the situation is. Really appreciate a lot of you tuning in. 159 tuning in, wherever you're from. It was a difficult one, a difficult watch today. I know it was a draw. We're still top of the league at this moment of time, but we're just it's a decline. It's a decline of the last 10 months. 10 months. It's just been declining, and it's hard to watch. But we've been through worse. It could be worse, you could be liquidated, you could be put in the administration, There's always been worse in football for some of the teams. So it is what it is. We'll bounce back. If it's the case not this season, we'll bounce back next season. But at this moment in time, looking at all the feedback, he's all comment. A lot of these are Brendan now. As I said, I think it's weird to see in football you're top of the league and you want your manager gone, but it's not. It's not a string of results. It's a string of all season that this has happened. I'm gonna watch the Henrik DVD. Not a bad one. I'm actually, I'm gonna watch that new. I'm gonna watch the Batman that came out a couple of years ago. The Robert Pattinson one for the change, and distract me head from it, because at the end of the day, we're all feeling annoyed and frustrated and disappointed. And some people are just not surprised that happened this today, and I understand that, but it's very predictable, isn't it? It's very predictable, you know. Yeah, liquidate. The bowler are responsible. Bowler are responsible. But, at the end of the day, he signs off, even though he's a non C. Well, the decision of a CEO. We get on. We get on. So, folks, that's really it. Thanks very much for tuning in, folks. Nice speaking to you all. I'll be back tomorrow night for a podcast, and then please do subscribe to the channel. As I said, all it takes to pop over to Facebook from Facebook or X and subscribe to Come On the Hoop Celtic. Back me. If you enjoyed the chat tonight, subscribe. If you haven't, I'll probably get you another time. So we'll move on. We'll bounce back, and hopefully sooner than later. So yeah, leave it there. Take care, folks. Hell.